check out our sponsor, ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com, the leading innovator in water filtration systems. Get all of your water filters at ProPureUSA.com. Click the link below right now. Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Greene. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. It is Wednesday, June 10th, 2015, and the founder of Alibaba, I just love saying that, Alibaba, Jack Ma, the Chinese billionaire, the wealthiest billionaire in China. He was actually recently superseded by an energy magnate, but then that magnate lost some $14-15 billion, I think, overnight in market capitalization. And now Jack Ma, founder of Alibaba, the kind of competitor to Amazon, the equivalent in China, predicts yesterday World War III. Yeah, that's right. The fearmonger that makes up Jack Ma, because of course we're always accused of this here, the alternative media, those with a thinking cap and a brain that has any kind of intuition or understanding of economics or geopolitics at all. Jack Ma predicts World War III. Yeah, that's right. The World War III. If you're local here in Arizona and you're part of our Hispanic community, World War III. But he says that this war won't be a war against nations, country pitted against country, like what we saw with World War II or World War I. This, he says, will be a war on climate change, on poverty, on infrastructure problems around the world. These great intellectual problems that people like Al Gore pinpoint on a regular basis, while in the meantime selling their media arms like Current TV to a Qatari-based oil family for $1 billion+. You know, the same people that bring it to our attention that we need to attack climate change and all of these gross problems that we have with the world today. Notice, and note specifically, this Chinese billionaire, the owner of Alibaba, says that this war is going to be different this time. It's going to be a war, a global war where countries like the United States, he says, and China work together to kill the common enemy. He's talking about integration. He's talking about global government, one world government. Some people like to call it the New World Order, but of course you're called a conspiracy theorist if, again, you put two and two together and have a thinking cap of a brain. So he predicts World War III, but a joint effort by nations, not where countries are pitted against each other. Isn't it interesting that also in this given point of history, at this particular time of the year, there's also some very important meetings taking place, notably the G7. And in addition to that, much more prevalent in the underground here that makes up alternative media, which has now gone friggin' mainstream right in the face of the MSM in recent years, the Bilderberg Group meeting held in Austria, in the Alps, I believe, a very secretive event where these people, this squid that makes up Goldman Sachs and HSBC and all these billionaires like Bill Gates get together. I'm not sure, maybe Jack Ma's also attending. I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll be discussing world events. We'll be talking about Greece and the Grexit. They'll be talking about the upcoming U.S. election. Yeah, that's right. Let's elect that tramp that makes up Hillary Clinton 2016. She'll bend over and take it up the you-know-what to serve corporate interests. All these people, a melting pot of these billionaires getting together to decide your fate, to decide the fate of the world. As Jack Ma says, we need to attack the fellow billionaires, the top 0.001% of the world, need to attack this problem on behalf of the peasants, of the groundlings. You know, occasionally they'll throw us a breadcrumb or two, and one of those breadcrumbs, Jack Ma said, is that those small businesses in the United States need to start selling to China. Note that it used to be in reverse, that we bought everything from China. We were importing all of their cheap goods. We were the dominant superpower. Now he says it's in reverse. He says he's got great respect for Amazon.com and Jeff Bezos and his drone program and other companies like eBay, but he says that small businesses in America now need to start selling to the Chinese, where China becomes a net importer. You see how this is all changing hands? You see how the United States of America is now China's bitch, and China is kicking our ass? I did another video on this. Why is China kicking the shit out of the USSA? As if it's any surprise that as a result of this super debt leverage, this Ponzi scheme that makes up the Federal Reserve, an erosion of our common values, of really ethics to any degree, this corruption in the banking sector or in politics has led us to this bloodbath that now makes up a crippled America as it is today in its current form. You see, China is taking over the world. What Jack Ma is talking about, the founder of Alibaba, is that China is the new world leader. Of course, this ties into the world currency, the yuan taking a greater percentage weight of the SCR basket and the IMF, something I've also talked about extensively, how there's been a development of a new banking system through the AIIB, the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, with the BRICS nations, Russia, China, basically at war with the good old USA. But Jack Ma reminding us that these billionaires that have our self-interests at heart, of course, they've got all of our self-interests at heart and not their own. They're not inside dealing. They're not rigging LIBOR, as was the case with a multi-billion-dollar fine imposed on HSBC that's also attending Bilderberg. They're not doing or operating or engaging in any of these illegal activities. I mean, the entire reason they have a Bilderberg meeting is to figure out how to help the little guy. You know, how to put more money in our pockets and improve our quality of life with GMOs and genetically modified materials that we can swallow down if you're still dumb enough to drive through a McDonald's drive-through window. It's all in our self-interest, not theirs. But of course, what's interesting about this is a billionaire, a newly minted, nouveau rich, a newly minted billionaire saying that he's got a problem deciding how to spend his money. He says it's more difficult, he says, Jack Ma says, to spend the billions than he's made than it was to earn it. I mean, it sounds pretty arrogant. I mean, I don't know, you could give me $1 billion, you could give probably any of you tuning in $1 billion and you'd find some darn good use for it. I mean, most of the world can't even freaking eat or doesn't have clean water. You know, so part of the problem that these guys have is figuring out how to, I guess, distribute these funds in a meaningful way as a plan, really global domination from multiple levels. Again, the intent here is integration of global government. It's exactly how all of this is going to play out in Greece with the destruction of the Eurozone, the crippling of the euro, the collapse of the United States. It's all going to be served, as I've said many times before, on a silver platter where they're going to recommend global integration. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the new war. We have a war on poverty. We have a war on climate change, etc., etc. All because it pushes their agenda. It pushes their selfish interests. Now, these billionaires have every right to meet. They have every right to have these secretive meetings, to do whatever they want. But it's up to us, the little guys, the little people that make up America and those citizens around the world and the global citizenry, to educate ourselves to what the intent is behind all of this. One interesting figure notable attending the event is Peter Thiel, the founder of PayPal, the billionaire, part of the PayPal, mafia. Now, very interesting because there's a supposition that everybody at these meetings is evil. You know, we see this portrayed in the alternative media where, it's basically every single one of these people at these types of events is some kind of vampire squid like Goldman Sachs. That, I think, is questionable, and it's naive to think that everybody there is evil. Maybe some of these people are working on the inside. You know, Peter Thiel is a pretty well-known libertarian. He actually backed much of Ron Paul's campaign in the sums of millions and millions of dollars. Some questionable activity with his involvement with Palantir, which is a company that I don't know if he co-founded, but I know he's a part of, with some of the other PayPal mafia that works directly with the U.S. government and U.S. intelligence. Isn't that interesting? To basically generate and thumb through data to look for things like terrorism or anomalies in our financial markets, etc. All of this, again, about global integration. All of this about the government and companies like Google or PayPal, etc., becoming the new global government, becoming Jack Ma's vision, who says, interestingly enough, that his life was better before he was a newly minted billionaire. Now that he walks down the street, everybody has their hands out and is expecting a handout because of his newfound nouveau rich, great wealth. Get it out everywhere. Jack Ma, billionaire, predicts World War III. Wasn't coming from my mouth, coming from a Chinese billionaire, who, by the way, is kicking the shit out of the United States of America, along with the country, China. I'm Chris Greene. Get this video out everywhere, make it viral, hard-hitting it in your face, and click the link below to support our sponsor.